What's happening, YouTubers? I hope you guys are well, your training is going well. For me it's Thursday right now, we're in the third training week of the 2025 season. This is the last week of load. Next week will be about deloading before we go into a testing phase in a lab for the bike and run. I'll take you with as well. But today is the last big day of intensity of the week. I have one more key session after this day, a swim on Saturday, but otherwise just aerobic work and all the other stuff around that. But I have something to show you. So something did just arrive in the mail. As you guys know, the winter time for me is, as it was last season for the guys that watched already, it's a time to improve aerodynamically with the costs that you have given. If I had a more financial budget, which I will have in the future, I will for sure invest, I don't know, 20-30 grand a year on aerodynamic gains and finding an edge there. But now I'll play with what I got. So one of those is the reach extender for the Canyon CFR. This is 80mm reach. So one thing I want to try, and I will also work on, is those are the screws. Let me show you what this is for. First of all, high quality, holy moly. I already got another one. This is 50mm reach and 15 degrees. So this goes under here. So first I get quite a bit more reach obviously, but also I'm very interested in the angle. I want to give it a try. So now I got around 20-degree angle, maybe a bit more, but I want to go for 30-35 and see how that adds up with my aero position. I'll get a new cockpit part here. There's something Ruby Bikes is working on. I'll show you once it's finished. He's working on that right now, so I'm very excited for that part. To basically get, which also be available then for you guys, for the age groupers as well. So you basically get a closed cockpit, which is what the Canyon Pros have, not on the market right now. This is best the official Canyon has right now, but as you see, it has spaces and gaps. It's for sure good, but it's for sure also not as good as a complete closed cockpit. And you see this is all massive turbulence obviously, so that I want gone. So the cockpit is a big part of my aero setup, plus helmet choice, and yeah, some things to work on. I will also most likely travel to Sweden for bike fit. For me it's quite easy here. Again, and financially you have to see, Finland doesn't have a lot to offer, or nothing that I found on a very high level for bike fitting and aero testing as well. So of course you could go the classic route, which is one way to do, like Germany and all that, but I've been on those labs and to be honest I felt not as good as maybe hyped. So I want to have someone with a great mind with that. So most likely, I'm still double checking, going to Stockholm. There's actually a ferry that goes from here, so also financially much easier with the bike and everything. Ferry there and back. And there's a way of doing a very good bike fit, very specialized bike fitter for time trialing and triathlon. And so he has other things as well. He has a muscle sensor to see as well how your quads, for example, the vastus medialis and vastus lateralis, how those are behaving, how those are doing at different watts, how efficient the position is. That's one with the muscle sensors. And another one is he has a virtual wind tunnel. So obviously not as good as a normal wind tunnel, but also it costs $150, right? And you can test your position, all those things as good as possible. Because I saw when you do something indoors is one thing, but the race pictures tell a real big story. So when I saw my race pictures versus other pros, you can just see you're blowing 50 watts away in the wind because the position is not as good as it could be. One part is of course dialing in and neck work, and it's a lot of that, like actually forcing yourself in an aggressive position, being able to hold that with the neck and back requires a lot of training. Nobody can set you on the bike and just say, hey, here you go, and you're gonna ride 4 hours beautifully. That requires a lot of training in position. In the beginning, very uncomfortable until it is comfortable, like training. So, another thing to celebrate is my new running shoes, Invincible 3, my absolute go-to shoe. I got a new pair finally. That was about time. So they are my go-to by far. They're bouncy, they have the cushioning, they have the responsiveness for all my long and aerobic runs. They're normally my go-to for the speedy sessions are some kind of carbon shoe to get used to it, but also for the future I'll try the Streak Flying Pegasus from Nike. I had some good New Balances as well. They worked also pretty well. Very important for me for running shoes, as I said before, is of course the drop. So I'm not touching any shoe that doesn't have a minimum of 8mm drop. Anything under, like brands like Hoka, for example, they have up 4 often, and if you put that on a beginner, that is just not a good idea. Even for a professional, it's just a different load for the whole Achilles region, not worth the risk in my eye. But some it works very well. But if you want to make sure that you get minimal problems as possible, going with a shoe that has 8 to 9 millimeter drop and feels good is the best option. So I just finished my swim workout for today. It was a really good swim. It was a mix of also very specialized, not race specific, but like going through the phases. For example, you start with some faster over threshold reps that make your neuromuscular tired. They're at the 24s and 50s. Really happy holding this 30 to 32 second pace. Really happy with that. I did all short course meters today because it was more busy. And then I went into the threshold reps, 10 times 100 and 10 times 50. And they definitely also had really good paces for me, better than I did before. It was more technical work, so I'm not going for this aerobic and like conditioning all the time. I have a little longer rest right now, but I held this 112, 113 pace more like, you know, maintainable, not like smashing it. So really, really good. Improving, and that's just because of the mechanical changes I made and how I adjust my training now in the training sense of the Cam McElroy, as I said before. But yeah, so that after that I went into aerobics, so 10 times 100, leaving on 130, holding 120 pace, 122 some, but really like as easy as possible with that. So that was a good set, happy with that. My arms are a bit worked, so that's what you want with a key session like that. And yeah, so I had a smoothie already, but now it's time for lunch and a bit of rest, and then comes the rest of the day. Yeah, something I wanted to mention regarding the diet and all that. I am working on that, and there was also interest already written to me that, hey, please share the whole journey, and I am very passionate about all that. Like, I like all of parts of sports, nutrition, sleep, performance, but I will consciously choose not to share this on this channel, and I'll tell you now why. Because first of all, there's so many eating disorders on bad, healthy images going around in the sport, and everybody that's really keen on that has still, like many in the sport, on even on the top level, still promote that kind of body type and yeah, playing bad health, and then they run from stress fracture, injury, sickness to the next, and nobody talks about why that is, which has to do with very, very low body fat and not nourishing the demands of your body. So I don't want to share that. I'm not so into that I want to be the ambassador for that, like all that. And secondly, I don't know if it works at all. If I did a whole year of good racing and performed well, and then I can eventually go through the tips that I did. And secondly, I don't feel qualified to do so. I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not experienced, I don't have life or work experience working in that. Of course you can pull up some stuff, of course I know stuff about nutrition obviously, but I'll be, like I said, with Get Fueling, working with a Scott. There will be a podcast coming about that. Not podcast, but like two kind of podcast style videos, as I mentioned on Instagram. So there will be stuff coming about that. Any questions you have about that, you can let me know in the comments below, and I will ask it to Scott, who's a professional and can give very good professional advice on that. So yeah, but also for those of you that are still thinking a bit Tour de France style, that the lighter the better, you have to look at the current facts. And the current facts, for example, in male and female, but especially male professional triathlon, is that all the ones that are by far the best in the sport are between 75 and 80 kilograms. That includes Gustav Iden, Christian Blumenfeld, all varying sizes. So they're all on a heavy, strong side. Magnus Ditlev, Sam Long, yeah, Magnus Ditlev, 80 kilos for sure. Sam Long, maybe 82, 80, very strong, tall guy. Christian Blumenfeld, 75, Gustav Iden, 75, who else is there? Anyways, they're all strong, well nourished and healthy. That's why they can race like that and perform like that over time. Anything else will lead to setback and injuries. So please, the only thing I want, get rid of this unhealthy image. It's very bad for you, it's not gonna make you perform well, but I know it's an easy trap to fall into, and if I keep reporting all of this, I know most of the people that have this psychology, which is nothing to be fixed by YouTube video, it needs a psychologist probably to get rid of that. So yeah, not my job, and I want to keep this channel about, you know, promoting mental health, discipline, goal setting, dreams, vision, healthy lifestyle, of course, all those things. That is what I'm passionate about, and I'll keep it up at that. So I'm gonna get lunch down and then I'll check in after. Alright, we're getting ready for the second session of the day. That is a 40-minute-ish run, 7.5K. Easy, so it's sandwiched between the key session, between the key swim, and tonight the key bike, which is going to be a threshold bike session. So the reason why I do this is, so first of all, if you really break down triathlon training super simple, which is not always easy, but I think I found a way to say it, is what you want to do is that you have your key sessions, depending how much volume you have, how much time you're training. So for example, for me, there will be 5 key sessions a week, 2 in the swim, 2 in the bike, 1 in the run, 1 where I really push, and the long run can also consider it, of course, a bit more quality session. But that's for now, 5 sessions where I push, and all around that has to be volume, supporting volume, as much aerobic volume as you can tolerate, now it comes, without influencing the key sessions. So if the volume around that, let's say you run so much that your legs are gone, and with aerobic volume that you can't hit the key session, or like the same for the bike, same for the swim, then you kind of have failed because you put too much volume in. Whatever the number is, let's say you're working and life stress, whatever, let's say you train 10 hours a week, then of course you can maybe do 1 bike key session, 1 key run, 1 key bike session, 1 key run session, maybe 1 swim, but that's about it, just because of the volume you can't do more than that. So around that aerobic. So that's what I'm doing. My goal is to be the most consistent athlete I can humanly be. Anything in my control, year by year. That's basically the secret that I have found. I've looked for other secrets for extremes this year. Some of them worked, and I've definitely learned a lot from them that are also brought into this system now. But yeah, the secret is, there is no secret. Whoever is the most consistent, because consistent is kind of a, whoever is the most consistent over time will be the best athlete. But there is one more thing when it comes to consistent, because you think consistent, okay, I'll just train every day of the week and it'll be good. But you have to be a bit more specific, I feel. Who trains consistent key sessions in each sport that moves you forward with the volume around that. Who can do that? That is consistent, because you can train 7 days a week, and let's say one day you're toast and you do easy, and I did that this year, and you actually don't progress. You're doing something, but you're not really, moving the needle. But if you consistently bang out the sessions, hit them in the target intensities, sometimes when the body doesn't want to give as much, you go a bit lower and really listen to the body. Sometimes you might feel good. You do 5% more, if at all. That's a question, because there's a snowball effect on the rest of the week. So you gotta know what you're doing. So I'm happy with how I'm doing it so far. We're going out for a run. The sun came out, and let's go. So for those runs, I'm only having heart rate, as you can see. For this run, it's 135 to 140 heart rate, really controlled, but mostly RPE as well. I choose on purpose time and heart rate for those runs, because of course I focus on cadence and technique, but yeah, key to have some free mind, because your pace will increase with those aerobic runs either way. And yeah, then always check that you're healthy, because you gotta be lucky, no smiles. You don't want to be, around in the nature. I mean, check this out, where I am, absolutely beautiful here. So I want to be in this, involved, and make sure I always enjoy the sport. As you know me, I'm very driven with goals and specifics, and data. I like that stuff because it's also in your control, right? But this is important to detach from that mind, because most of the triathletes, type A or whatever you want to call it, just like detail driven, they love this stuff and they don't control that side of themselves. And suddenly you're only looking at numbers, suddenly you forgot why you started the sport, suddenly you don't, look at all anymore around. You're just thinking, I'm running this pace, okay, I need to run this pace, this guy runs this guy this, so you're always drawn into the future, or like, I did this in the past, I've been injured or sick, now the pace is like this. So in the past or future, this is not life, right? So you have to be in the present, and always, everybody preaches this, but this is one small hack, just having time and heart rate on your watch. By doing that, you can really just, helps me a lot to just, detach, and heart rate and RPE tells you all you gotta know for those runs anyways. So, yep. We got the run banked, it's really beautiful, felt really good as well, so that's a great sign. And now I'll actually go to the gym, just a 20-minute mobility thing. I didn't do yesterday because got a bit late yesterday, so bit of work on that, bit of tension. Can show you some stuff, but everything it's a bit tricky now to film. But anyways, then some food and back at home. That was it. Felt really good. Getting also better with some core work, but it was just some activation. This is mainly mobility. I have outside of that 2 gym sessions a week, which are a key part of while I will progress in the future 100%. So would never take those out. Made huge jumps in that actually, not just strength wise, but changed a lot now recently because of again some input I got from an Olympic swimmer, as I mentioned before. Anyways, it's fun and it's translating big time into all sports. There we are, third and last session of the day. It will be the threshold bike, just 75 minutes with a bit special warm-up, and then the main set is 10 times 3 minutes with 1 minute rest. So just 10 times 3 minutes threshold range. Nothing crazy, but still 30 minutes of work at threshold. Last week's I did around 350 range, and see how I feel this week. Yeah, so nothing special, but still a good bit of work. Nutrition wise, I got here 80 grams in there, and there are 40, so 120 grams in total, and yeah, that's it. Hey guys, I'm just in my warm-up, watching very much not triathlon content. Zlatan on the hot ones, highly recommend, funny, and also legendary football player, and I love to learn from everybody that's excellent, no matter which sport or profession. always like it. So a little bit more warm up, and then I check bit in before the main set starts. I did a few reps today. I did like 5 or something, but I did feel like the legs are not quite in it today. They can really push threshold. So I'll just do the rest aerobic now. It's anyway September season, you know. And unless the body is really ready, you know, to really push the, not limits, but like a proper session, if you feel for whatever reason the body is not for that, then yeah, I mean, that's what it is, you know. The human body isn't like based on a training plan. And it was interesting, kind of the first time I'm doing those kind of decisions, which I always not push through, but of course I can do the threshold set at a bit lower watts, right? But can you absorb it really? It's not the goal, that wasn't the goal. Unless you can really, you know, make the proper session, your body is receptive for it. Sure, you can be tired, but I didn't feel like this on the Thursday the last 2 weeks. So yeah, just going with the body, and those are the right decisions. But those are the hard decisions, right? But yeah, just the rest aerobic, and watching some Cat Matthews, one of the Ironman documentaries. If you haven't seen them, they're really good, really inspiring, enjoying it. Gonna enjoy the ride and be proud of my good judgment. You have to clap yourself on the back, you know. Be honest with yourself, really tune in your body. Those things I didn't do enough, because you know, you want that progress, you want that thing, but if you're really honest with yourself, is your body right now, today in this session, would it absorb the session? That's the only question you have to ask yourself. If the answer is yes, what are you doing? You're just stomping the legs that are not interested in that. So yeah, gonna recover after this, and then that's bike session. Just finishing the rest of the spin. We're done here now. Yeah, that's my training day. It was the second quality day of the week. Tomorrow is aerobic day, some gym and other stuff. One more quality swim on Saturday. And Sunday double long run and all this stuff. Anyways, my last week of September, which anyway is supposed to be just teasers, you know, getting into fitness and consistent. So that's exciting. Next week a bit easier. And yeah, then that week after we go into testing, as I said, in the lab with my coach Elias as well, and Birpi of course, and excited for that one. So that'll be it for today. If you enjoyed this type of content, feel free to subscribe, and I see you in the next video. Bye bye.